Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with today's trading action. All right, a little bit remiss of me to mention yesterday. I thought it was a day early that it would happen, but the month-end fixing, right? Now, the dollar a lot lower than a lot of the portfolios, with all this month-end fixing around equities, equity indices and investments and these things, has seen a bit of a flurry into the dollar, right? And if you're looking at the charts, there's been no change in the data, but you know what? A little bit of a flurry, take profit, etc., into the month end. You see the dollar squeeze up, so that pushes euro, sterling, Aussie, Kiwi. Well, Kiwi sort of shrugged off. It had some stronger business confidence numbers today, but you see that slight reversal in a lot of these instruments. Now, it's twofold: a little bit of dollar buying, and then also the triggering of those weak, trending positions like long euro, long sterling, long Aussie. But this is it's only a short-term thing, right? And if you have a look at the global markets, right, the month-to-date performance of the equity markets, it hasn't been huge, right? So that doesn't see too much. I know the dollar's a lot lower, so there's a bit of portfolio adjustment there. Probably more buying of dollars now that the dollar value is lower. So just to re-hedge their books, but not massive. So what do I think? I think we're in the same situation here, right? With regards, looking at where, what the dollar's doing. Once again, this is like the old trend. You're looking for situations where, you know what, you can simply see what's going on. At this point here, it's coming off, right? Off an overbought situation. You would be leaning towards closing out positions there. Now, talking about those positions, I got a little bit lucky yesterday, had a bit of a no-brainer on the Aussie, following the Aussie monthly indicator, right? Not a huge number, but unfortunately, I took the lines off once I closed out. The entry order here was at 88. I think I might have initially posted at 92 or something, but using Trendline Trader, right? Getting into the trade 12 points above the trend line. Stop loss was at 63. I think the low was like 64. Missed it by a point. Closed the trade out today. You know what? We've been in the trade 19 hours. It's back to sort of where it's going to discombobulate around that, previous support, which is now acting as resistance. I think there's still room for the Aussie to go up, but you know what? You don't want to be just holding stale positions into the month end, right? Which is, I think we're sort of getting closer to it now. Obviously, Friday, I would have thought would have been the main day. It's funny how, like, a lot of the funds, etc., that do the month-end fixing, right, and the banks execute for them, but it used to be on a set date. Now they try and do it a couple of days before, so the market can't anticipate when it's going to happen as much. But you know what? If there's big moves in the equity markets, it's easier to see. When there's not so many big moves, it's a little bit trickier. But for us, we can see what the dollar's doing and go from there. Now, just looking at the markets, right? The Dow Jones up slightly and the NASDAQ sort of down, right? So this is a funny one because it's a bit of a mixed reaction there on the equity markets. Treasury yields, to me, US Treasury yields are pretty neutral, but we are seeing a risk-on profile in the day. And to me, that's just a slight correction from yesterday, from the North American session. Once again, that slightly stronger dollar, that's finished. And now we're back to these markets going back up. So maybe keep an eye on the Dow Jones. It's sort of driving things at the moment. And what traditionally always did. It's just since the pandemic and since online tech became so massive that the NASDAQ sort of almost dominates that area. Now, just looking at where the action is today, and I've just cleaned up things a little bit. The business outlook numbers, right? I've sort of, if I had done this earlier, there's been one or two situations over the last 2 years where this number comes out really strong or exceptionally weak and has a big impact. We've seen that today, right? And it's like I would call it a third or fourth tier number that doesn't really move things. Just goes to show that you don't need massive impact to sort of really kibosh things. Now, capital expenditure down in Australia. It's going to sort of slow things down a bit, but not much. And then you come back into, we got some sentiment numbers here in Europe. You've got the prelim numbers here in Germany. Now, they came out throughout the course of the day, so it's a long wait to get those numbers. GDP estimate in the States, I don't think it's going to be any impact, right? As far as, like, obviously what the Fed are going to be doing. You can keep an eye on those initial jobless claims numbers. They seem to sort of come out of vogue every other week. If there's nothing going on, the market sort of jumps all over them. So just check that out. It's been pretty tight of late. In actual fact, a little slight blowout there really helps the cause. Probably sees that weaker dollar come back into the market pretty quickly. And you know what? For Thursday, that's all we've got, right? We've got these nice trending markets. A little bit of a question mark from a lot of people about, oh, the trend's over. No. Look, that's just the short-term perspective, right? If you look at the daily charts, you'll see that, you're going to have these small glitches in the overall trend. That's all part of it. Now, for me, as just a recommendation, keep an eye on your stochastics, because when there isn't major data coming out, it's more the timing of the trade. And you can see here how sterling was breaking down, but so is stochastics, right? That's your guide in these trending markets. All right. So it may involve spending a little bit more time in front of the screens, but you know what? I think that's a clean out, and we're good to sell dollars once again. All right, guys, have a good one. All the best. Cheerio.